And welcome to King 5. I'm Greg Copeland. This is The Week, a look at what made headlines in our region, along with your weekend forecast. We now know the name of the UW student who was killed in a stabbing in an off-campus apartment. Police have identified the victim as 19-year-old Juniper Blessing. New court documents reveal more about what happened inside the laundry room at the off-campus apartment complex where they were killed. As King 5's Jim Nelson tells us, prosecutors believe the visual evidence is strong, but the suspect may have thought there'd be no evidence.
Just days after shockwaves swept through UW, the 31-year-old suspect was in court. Prosecutors revealed more about the chilling crime that claimed the life of 19-year-old Juniper Blessing.
It's particularly concerning when you have it at UW housing because that is so rare.
Court documents paint a disturbing picture at the off-campus apartment complex Sunday night. Witnesses describe a man lurking for hours, a security camera unplugged but still recording, and a victim stabbed more than 40 times. Seattle police released still images of the suspect Wednesday. Later that night, he showed up with his parents to turn himself in to Bellevue police.
He really had no choice.
The laundry room security cameras are central to this case. The fact the power cord was unplugged is a significant detail, says former King County Sheriff and King 5 law enforcement analyst John Urquhart.
I think it does go to the premeditation of the whole situation, I think, and that's why they put it in there. Whether that holds up or not, we'll have to wait and see. But it's an important point that they needed to emphasize, and they certainly did.
What the suspect didn't know, the camera kept recording to an internal SD card. He was seen leaving around 10 p.m. 10 minutes later, the 911 call. Nobody was seen entering that room during that gap. These are the images that led to the suspect, whose own brother called police to identify him.
The 20-year-old man accused of killing an employee of a popular North Seattle tap room has been charged with murder. Last weekend, 25-year-old Kupsa Margaza was found dead inside the Growler Guys tap room on Lake City Way. According to court documents, Margaza met the suspect, Lucas Logan, and a woman on Friday night and then brought them into the tap room several hours after it had closed. It appears they got into a fight, and Logan allegedly shot Margaza in the head from behind as Margaza was trying to unlock the back door. Video appears to show a Covington man hurling a rock at an endangered monk seal in Hawaii. King 5's Christian Balderas reports from the federal courthouse in Seattle.
This case was filed in Hawaii, but because he was arrested here in Washington, he is making his first court appearance here at the federal courthouse in Seattle. The suspect is 38-year-old Igor Miklovich Litvinchuk of Covington. He now faces 2 federal charges under the Endangered Species Act and the Marine Mammal Protection Act. Court documents say the seal, known locally as Lani, was swimming and playing with a log in shallow water when the man picked up the rock, size of a coconut, and hurled it directly at her head. He narrowly missed, but witnesses say the animal went motionless for more than an hour. When confronted, the man walked away without checking on the seal, telling witnesses he didn't care and was, quote, rich enough to pay any fines. Many locals say this is just another incident of tourists not respecting their home and the native wildlife.
A lot of tourists think this is their vacation time. They don't really realize that this is our home.
There are other reports of monk seals being harassed in Hawaii. This right here is a different monk seal with her pup. The animals have been endangered since 1976. If Litvinchuk is convicted, he could face up to 2 years in prison and a $70,000 fine. In Seattle, I'm Christian Balderas, King 5 News.
Well, it's an about-face for the city of Seattle. After years of denying that its dams on the Skagit River caused problems for salmon, the mayor has officially signed an agreement to spend billions improving salmon habitats. King 5's Drew Mickelson has reaction from the tribes who fought for this.
This is the story of the power of a river.
The 3 dams on the Skagit River were celebrated feats of engineering a century ago and remain a lower-cost source of about 20% of the electricity used by Seattle City Light customers. But those savings and the development came with a price tag, submerging sensitive property belonging to 3 tribes and blocking passageways for endangered spawning salmon. But today, a bit of redemption in a settlement agreement signed by the city of Seattle.
We can continue to produce clean, carbon-free energy while also safeguarding cultural and natural resources.
The multi-billion-dollar deal with the Upper Skagit and Sauk Suiattle Indian tribes includes building salmon passage routes around the dams and improvements to the habitat and efforts to reduce flood risks. A years-long King 5 investigation exposed the need for a fix on the Skagit River. For decades, the city relied on old science, refusing to acknowledge the dam's impacted salmon, despite studies from federal and state agency scientists who argued the exact opposite. In fact, only scientists who backed the city of Seattle's theory worked for the city.
It was very difficult, these discussions were. In fact, I refer to this agreement as a treaty at one point because, in fact, we were kind of at war at one point.
Scott Schuyler from the Upper Skagit Indian Tribe says the signing made for a day of reflection. He won't celebrate, though, until he sees the benefit of the changes he and others fought for on the Skagit River.
This agreement is about the quality of life, improving the quality of life, not just for us, not just for our river, but for everybody, including Seattle, because we know that we're doing the right thing.
In Seattle, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
We are now exactly 1 month away from the first FIFA World Cup match in Seattle. And as the countdown ticks closer, city leaders are unveiling their plan to move hundreds of thousands of fans through downtown. They are making it clear driving to the matches may not be the best option. Here's King 5's Alex McClune with more.
Super Kim Thai Kitchen sits near the doorstep of Lumen Field, where World Cup decorations line the walls.
I just want to bring the people more in town. I think it's going to be a good time.
Owner Kim Batum Latanitan expects to serve fans from around the world. Seattle's plan to handle the crowds dramatically changes movement through Pioneer Square.
Yeah, all the green thing, you cannot park anywhere around there.
The city informed Kim large sections will be pedestrian-only zones with parking restrictions and street closures hours before kickoff.
They need to tell us about.
Kim plans to get around the closures by stocking up on food the day before matches and unloading deliveries before street shutdowns.
We're going to make it easy to get here. No cars required.
State and city leaders announced more light rail service this summer, along with additional sounder trains, expanded bus and water taxi service, free downtown shuttles, and extra ferry staffing.
Do you think Seattle's ready for the World Cup?
They are.
Transportation?
They are very ready for the World Cup.
Gail Gutera expects to see fans embrace the local transit system compared to other host cities.
Seattle is just, it's like a mini New York, a mini Toronto, a mini Quebec, mini Barcelona.
More than 40 cities vied to host the biggest sporting event in the world. Now, the Pacific Northwest expects to see an economic impact of $846 million for local businesses.
Seahawks game is huge, a lot. But this one is not just only like the people only took team country, but it's all over the world.
When we come back, extra power with every stride. King 5 has a look at the next generation of emergency mountain rescue operations. But first, meteorologist Adam Claiborne has a look at the weekend forecast right after this.
All right, everyone, a good and a happy weekend to you. King 5 meteorologist Adam Claiborne here to talk about a few things. We actually have some more rain that's going to be around here over the next day or so. Now, Saturday definitely expected to be a wet day. Sunday, I think we might see a sprinkle out there or two early into the morning, but generally we're talking about a drying and a clearing trend that we're going to start up on Sunday and see quite a bit more of as we head on into next work week. We could be talking about 70s yet again by the end of the week. We got some mountain snow to tell you about here over the next really 24 to 36 hours. We do have advisories out for that. And one more thing, low tides, some really low tides. They're going to be around for us starting up on Saturday and heading through the weekend and into the start of next work week. And that's where we're going to start off right now. You can see as we look at that we are going to be noticing those low tides starting up as we head on into tomorrow. And we're talking more so around probably the afternoon, around that noon hour of seeing some of those low tides beginning to start up for a few of us. So this is when we're expecting it here, at least around Puget Sound, closer to Seattle. You can see that low tide getting down below 3 feet, and that's where we're going to stay for that Saturday. That's Sunday, that's Monday, and then that's Tuesday. Now, we're still going to be pretty low, just not quite as low heading into Wednesday as well before those levels do start to come back up. But for the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you're going to have an opportunity to maybe get out there and you like to see some marine life, you're going to have a shot of doing that. Just make sure, again, that you're extra careful. You're very sensitive to just use that one finger. Make sure that's a little damp, too, before you do so. And watch where you're stepping as you head out into that time and into those areas, okay? All right, let's go ahead and talk about the forecast here. We are expecting to have more of those showers around, increasing showers here for a few of us into the night. And for more of Saturday, we're expecting a storm or two to be out there. Not going to be too widespread, but we'll have that mountain snow too as we head on into the day for tomorrow. Drying out as we head on into Sunday. We're going to start to see things really clear out too as we go later on into the day. And then we'll see a lot more of that heading into Monday and through a lot of next work week. Here's a look at what we're expecting over the next 7-day stretch. Temperatures staying in the 50s for our day on Saturday. Sunday, we'll end off the weekend partly sunny with a high of 62. And then we're going to see quite a few of those 60s and 70s ahead as we go on into next work week. This is what we're going to see here as we go on into early tomorrow morning. We're going to see some of those clouds out there and some light showers. And that's all because of this system right here that you can see moving through the area. Now, most of what we're going to notice heading on into the day for Saturday will be just a few of these off and on showers because the main band is now heading off well to the east for many of us here across western Washington. And with that area of low pressure as it moves overhead, that will continue to drop those snow levels, and we are expecting to see mountain snow. Now, the snow levels should drop close to about 4,000 feet, and this is where we're going to have the better chances of seeing some of those accumulating snowfalls. Now, we may see a brief moment where those snow levels drop even more. It's just that around 4,000 feet, we have the best chances of seeing that accumulating snowfall. And you can see that the amounts are not going to be anything that will be overly impressive. For this time of the year, though, actually pretty nice to see, between about 4 to 6 inches for those spots that will be near and above 4,000 feet. So that will include Stevens Pass, around White Pass, if you're driving across there, that we're going to notice that. And also, too, I'll mention this, if you have any plans on heading out to Paradise, so in these next few days, you might see quite a bit of new fresh snow up there. Of course, we're going to be expecting some higher totals there as they're up above 5,500 feet in elevation. But that'll linger on into the maybe early part of Sunday before things do start to taper off. So you can see that advisory is going to be with us until 8 o'clock Sunday morning. Snow Calming Pass might see some accumulating snowfall, but it's going to be brief and it will melt very quickly too. Here's a look as we look at Futurecast, how things do shape up as we head on into your early Saturday. The system continues to spin on through here. You're noticing some of those areas of blue popping up right here across, especially Stevens Pass and down towards White Pass. That's helping to put down some of that snow we were just talking about across those locations there and right there. Also down towards Paradise, too, going to be picking up on quite a bit of that snow. At least for those of us in the lowlands, noticing that the nature of the shower activity kind of more off and on and scattered in nature, not really seeing anything too uniform or too steady, except you might notice this convergence zone up here around parts of Skagit and Whatcom County. Now, that is eventually going to break down, and we'll notice that that steadier shower activity does move southward. So here we are into Saturday afternoon, and you can start to see a lot more of that across parts of Central and now heading into South Sound, and that will be really more of the trend, that shower chance will continue to move its way farther south, and eventually it will begin to fade late into Saturday night. That's 10 p.m. there and continuing to dry out as we go late into Saturday night. Again, maybe a sprinkler or two out there for early Sunday, but many spots will be drying out. We'll have the clouds eventually and gradually begin to clear. And out this way over the Olympic Peninsula, a lot more of those clear skies. You don't see that milky color over there, which is indicating where the cloud coverage is expected to be. We're actually fairly clear out that way over the Olympic Peninsula and should remain that way as we head on into the afternoon hours. The evening, though, could bring in a few more of those clouds. Now let's take a look at what we're expecting precipitation-wise. Could see those amounts anywhere between about, I would say, 1/4 to 1/2 an inch in many locations. And this is through Saturday evening for spots around Puget Sound. Farther north is where you can see some higher amounts, but we're not going to see too much more after that. Again, that's going to be through Saturday evening, and that's when a lot of the rain will taper off. And then one more thing, check out this. These are going to be your snow totals here. You can see around Stevens Pass towards White Pass. White Pass actually showing up a bit more, but do expect that some of this is going to melt. So every bit of that 12 inch of snow that you're seeing right there, or 12 inches of snow that you see showing up on the models, is not going to stick. And it's going to compact, and we're going to see some melting take place. So Paradise, though, you can see that amount up closer to about 2 feet, if not more. Again, same deal there, expecting to see some melting, but you're talking at least a foot, if not even more, of snow across some of those parts. Also seeing some of that across the Olympic Mountains, too, as that comes on through. So some late season snow for our mountains here across western Washington. One more thing. Let's talk about baseball here into the weekend. We're expecting over into Tacoma that we're going to see conditions that are going to be rather not spotty and showery in nature as far as some of the showers for the Rainiers on Saturday. Sunday, though, should be a little better for us. We'll see partly sunny skies and a warmer temperature of 61. Now, that's just relatively speaking warmer. We should expect things to get just a bit warmer, though, as we head on into next work week. And then one more thing. Let's go ahead and talk about that forecast for the Mariners. We're expecting things to be quite a bit warmer here by the time we head on into Monday as we start the series against the White Sox. But Saturday and Sunday, final 2 games of that series beginning the Padres. We're going to see a few showers decreasing on Saturday, things becoming a bit drier and clearing out heading on into Monday. All right, tonight's lows, we're going to see temperatures actually into early Saturday morning, into the low to mid 40s. Now, we start off chilly, and again, we really don't warm up a whole lot heading into Saturday afternoon. We're going to keep those highs in the mid to upper 50s, but that will be slightly warmer than what we have seen for Friday. And you can also see, too, the mountains going to stay chilly. 38 there at Stevens Pass, 41 at Snoqualmie Pass, 35 in White Pass, and then Paradise again. We stay colder than freezing there. That's why there's a better chance of seeing those temperatures not only just aiding in the development and also the keeping of some of that snow and that sticking, but the higher accumulations too. All right, your forecast here for Saturday and Sunday. Warming as we head on into those next couple of days. The rain leaves us heading into Saturday. We'll start off to dry out into Sunday, and we'll see more of that drier and warmer weather heading on into next work week. Okay, everyone, we'll try to get out there, try to plan your time outdoors as much as possible to try to dodge some of the showers and also get ready for the warm-up that's ahead. And one more thing, again, too, those low times, they start up tomorrow, and they're going to be with us here for the first part of next work week. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.
Welcome back to the week. The hantavirus outbreak is now hitting close to home. 3 King County residents are being monitored after potentially being exposed to the rare virus. As King 5's Christian Balderas tells us, only one of them was actually on the ship.
Washington's tie to this outbreak actually comes down to 2 separate exposures. One to that cruise ship that is at the center of all of this, another to a flight home from South Africa. One King County resident was on that cruise ship. That person is one of 16 in quarantine in Nebraska this morning. 2 other local residents were exposed on a flight from South Africa, sitting just a few rows from a sick passenger linked to that same cruise. That passenger was taken off the plane, but only after being on board for about an hour. They later tested positive for the virus. Public health officials say they did not find out about that flight exposure until Sunday, more than 2 weeks after the flight.
Our team moved very quickly to contact these individuals. We were not able to make contact with them on Sunday, but were able to reach them yesterday morning so that we could begin a full investigation and gather more information from them.
Those 2 residents are back in King County, but right now they do not have symptoms. They are monitoring from home as a precaution. And there are no confirmed cases of hantavirus in King County. And again, public health officials are saying that the risk to the general public is low. Hantaviruses typically do not spread person to person, but this particular strain, the Andes virus, can, but it does require prolonged exposure and close contact. In Seattle, I'm Christian Balderas, King 5 News.
Well, former University of Washington football player is being remembered for the impact he made beyond the field. 23-year-old Voit Tanufi died on Monday, and now his family is sharing who he was as friends, teammates, and the Husky community rally around them. King 5's Bridget Chavez has the story from Husky Stadium.
Voit Tanufi's parents tell me he was the kind of person who treated everyone like family. He loved football, he loved making people laugh, and his loss is now being felt far beyond this stadium.
But when the cops told me that he didn't make it to the hospital, it was devastating. Till now, it's just unreal that he's gone.
For Alofa Tanufi, the knock at the door that came in the middle of the night changed everything.
I was just like crying.
Alofa says police showed up at her home around 2 o'clock Monday morning after her son, former University of Washington football player Voit Tanufi, was killed in a crash just minutes from their Utah home. At just 23 years old, his family is grappling with the loss.
Missing a son? I don't know why I gotta forget this.
Voit was a defensive lineman at UW from 2021 to 2024. Head coach Jeff Fish posted this photo on social media saying, "R.I.P. Voit, you made everyone in this program smile daily. In our 1 year together, I learned so much about family and joy from you."
The boys from Seattle, the UW, they hurt too. You know, they miss him. It's the same thing with that. That's our family over there in Seattle, the UW. But we'll never forget them.
UW football posted, "Our hearts are with the Tanufi family, his loved ones, and every brother who wore the W beside him, forever in the pack." But his parents say the things people remember most about him had nothing to do with football.
I know that a lot of his friends like and love him because of the way he is. He put everybody before him.
Now that love is pouring back onto his family, former teammates, friends, and members of the UW community rallying around them.
I hope and pray that people will remember him because I know that he touched everybody's life there in Washington.
A family now holding on to memories of a son who left a lasting impact.
We miss him very much, but I know we're gonna meet him again.
A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family pay for funeral expenses. If you'd like to help out, head to king5.com and click on this story. In Seattle, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
Pierce County deputies are warning about a dangerous social media prank after somebody kicked in a family's front door last weekend. The trend has already turned deadly in other parts of the country. Deputies say they have seen the so-called door-kicking prank before, and now they are sounding the alarm. Jim Nelson has the story.
That kick on the front door of a home in Gig Harbor has deputies issuing a new warning.
These pranks are not lighthearted. They're causing serious damage.
Just after 3:30 in the morning Saturday, a guy walked up to the home and started kicking. Security cameras didn't catch all of it, but the homeowner said the door frame was shattered.
I hear bang, bang, 5 loud bangs on my front door.
And he was left with the bill and the shock.
I don't care if you're pranking or not. People die from pranks.
Yep, 100%.
And it's a good way to not get to be 25.
In some cases, this viral social media trend has turned deadly when homeowners who believed they were being broken into opened fire. And that's what worries Pierce County Deputy Carly Capetto.
They have firearms at their doors and they will shoot if they feel like someone is breaking into their house. And I don't think that really crosses a lot of people's minds.
She says the test is simple. Before any prank, ask 2 questions.
Is it potentially going to hurt somebody, or will it cause property damage? And if you answer yes to any of those questions, you should not be doing the prank.
And while this incident involved an adult, Capetto urges parents to talk to their kids about the consequences of what seems like harmless fun.
Rescue missions in Western Washington are getting a high-tech upgrade, and it's helping crews move in a way we have never seen before. Seattle Mountain Rescue is one of only 2 teams in the country using wearable exoskeletons in the field. King 5's Madeline Carter shows us the tech in action in a story you'll see only on King 5.
In North Bend and across Western Washington, rugged terrain has always pushed people to their limits.
The missions that we respond to are a lot more complex than they traditionally were.
Now it's pushing technology there too. Inside Seattle Mountain Rescue, the next generation of mountain response is already being tested.
Hi, Ruffles.
This is
powered frame for your legs that provide mechanical assistance.
The exoskeleton. The wearable device is the latest tech Wes Cooper has brought to the team following the introduction of e-bikes for mountain missions. But the exoskeleton takes their physical capabilities a step further.
It'll literally lift your leg up and then push down as you move.
Designed to boost the strength and endurance of rescuers, it senses their movement, predicts what they're about to do, and adds power in sync with every stride, helping them reach people faster, even in the most difficult terrain.
If we can get to a subject a half an hour or an hour earlier, that can mean the difference between a positive and a negative outcome.
But in the field, it feels a little different.
It feels like you're a marionette, like you've got invisible strings that are pulling your legs up.
Like a superhero?
I mean, no, but...
Not yet, but maybe in a few years. For now, Seattle Mountain Rescue is working with the company Hypershell to test 3 of the devices in real-world conditions. And in just the past month, they've already been used on 3 missions.
Even somebody like me who's not trained can use this to walk, to run, to hike, to bike, and even ski. Oh my goodness. I feel like it is absolutely controlling my movements. And if I can feel this much power, you can imagine what this could do for Seattle Mountain Rescue.
The rescue team's dog, Ruffles, seems as intrigued by the tech as I am. And she's not the only one. Seattle Mountain Rescue is only the 2nd team in the country using exoskeletons on real missions. In North Bend, Madeline Carter, King 5 News.
And thanks for your time. We hope you enjoyed a look at the biggest stories of the week.